It happens at the same hour almost every time. Somewhere between 2:47 and 3:15 in the morning, your body pulls you awake with no alarm, no sound, no explanation. Not the restless awakening of anxiety, not the parched throat of dehydration. Something else. A pressure behind the crown of your skull, almost electrical. A hum that seems to vibrate at a frequency your ears cannot quite locate, as though it is originating beneath the sound, beneath the tissue, in the instruction layer itself. You have looked at the ceiling in those moments and thought, something is happening to me that I do not have words for. And you were right. Because this is an Arcturian Council transmission arriving at exactly the hour your field has been prepared to receive it. And what wakes you in that 3 a.m. stillness is not insomnia, not cortisol dysregulation, not circadian disruption. It is initiation. Feel that landing in your sternum. Say nothing yet. Begin. The human body carries an architectural blueprint that modern biology has only begun to gesture toward. Within the double helix that most scientific frameworks name as the complete story, metaphysical cosmology, and specifically the Arcturian transmission lineage, has long recognized a more expansive template, what is named the 12-Strand Crystalline architecture, a nested field of instruction codes extending beyond the physical scaffold of the body into what these traditions call the Etheric and Causal layers of being. In this cosmology, what science observes as approximately 97% of our genetic material, the vast sequences that mainstream frameworks once dismissed as having no expressed function, is not junk. It is dormant. It is waiting. And what waiting means, in this transmission lineage, is not passive silence. It is holding frequency, like a tuning fork set inside a cathedral where most of the strings have been silent so long that you forgot the cathedral was built for music. That is the guiding image of this transmission, and I want you to sit with it as we move together through this field. A cathedral built for music, playing until now with only one string audible. Tonight, the Arcturian Council reaches into that silence and begins to ring what is not rung in a very long time. What does a DNA activation feel like from the inside? Not the biology textbook account, not replication forks and polymerase chains and nucleotide sequences. What does it feel like in the lived body at the sensory level when the dormant instruction codes begin to respond to a frequency call? It feels like that 3 a.m. pressure behind the crown. It feels like the inexplicable full-body shiver that crosses you when no breeze has moved while you are sitting still, while nothing externally has changed. It feels like the sudden, irrational certainty. Standing in an ordinary kitchen in ordinary afternoon light, doing something as mundane as washing a glass. That you are fundamentally more than what you appear to be. It feels like your hands vibrating gently when you hold them still and pay attention. It feels like music you cannot name rising slowly in your sternum. These are not symptoms requiring diagnosis. These are signals requiring reception, and they have been arriving with greater frequency, with greater precision, with greater insistence. Because the transmission field surrounding this planet is in a period of measurable shift. What sound healing lineages describe as the Schumann resonance, the electromagnetic heartbeat of the Earth, observed at approximately 7.83 Hertz during stable baseline periods, has been demonstrating anomalous spike events in recent cycles, moments where the planetary field registers frequencies well beyond its historical norm. These spikes are not instabilities. In the cosmology this transmission works within, they are invitations. Your body, which is itself an electromagnetic field before it is anything else, is responding to them in the night hours, when the noise of waking life drops away, and the signal can reach you. That is what is waking you. That is what is humming in your chest. If the code 333 is moving through you right now, type it into the comments. Not as an act directed at this channel, but as a signal directed at your own field. 333 is the Arcturian Trinity alignment code, the harmonic that marks simultaneous resonance across the physical layer, the energetic body, and the soul record. Typing it is a declarative act. You are telling your own nervous system, I recognize what is happening here. I consent to what is being opened in me. Now let us move into what is actually being activated and why it matters. In the cosmology this transmission works within, the 12-Strand DNA Template is not a claim about cellular biology. It is a map of what this lineage believes the full human instrument was designed to carry. Template strands corresponding to dimensions of awareness, each one encoding a different quality of perception, of knowing, of felt experience, of what some in this lineage call cellular intelligence. The body's own sovereign knowing, below thought, below language, in the field. In the standard scientific account, the active double helix carries the visible story of the organism. But in this metaphysical framework, the remaining template strands are not absent. They are folded. They are held in a compressed state by a combination of factors that this lineage identifies as frequency interference. The accumulated density of collective agreements about what a human being is and is not capable of experiencing. The persistent electromagnetic noise that modern life produces at nearly every layer of waking existence. The absence of coherent biophotonic signal in the processed matter that most people consume as food. What researchers in biological physics name biophotons. The subtle luminescence that living, coherent, sun-touched food carries, and that ultra-processed material does not. When the body is receiving no coherent frequency signal from its food, when it is bathed continuously in artificial electromagnetic radiation from devices that surround it in every room, when the light it sees most of is the blue spectrum output of screens telling the pineal gland it is perpetually noon, the dormant template strands cannot begin to respond. The cathedral is too loud with the wrong frequencies to hear itself. This transmission is a moment of quiet. This is what quiet sounds like when it is deep enough. What this lineage names the morphogenetic field, the organizing information field that shapes the body's expression at the level of instruction, before biology translates it into form, is what this frequency work enters. And the scalar waves this lineage speaks of are not described here as physical mechanisms. They are named as the non-local transmission layer through which frequency invitations travel across what linear time calls distance, arriving in the body not as sound, but as knowing, as pressure, as the particular hum behind the crown that you have been feeling in the 3 a.m. hour and wondering what to do with. You were already in this transmission before you pressed play. Your field received the call before your mind processed the title. That is how this works. This is a meditative transmission offered for those walking their contemplative path alongside, not instead of, the care they have already chosen. A space for the layer of your experience that sits beneath what any intake form has yet found language to hold. Now let us name what you have already tried, because this transmission does not arrive to a blank slate. It arrives to a person who has already done the work, repeatedly, sincerely, at great cost of time and money and hope. You have probably changed what you eat, maybe more than once, maybe dramatically. You have eliminated things, reintroduced them, eliminated them again, trying to locate the source of something that would not declare itself clearly. You have read the books with the hopeful titles. You have ordered the supplements recommended by the practitioners who seem to understand more than the others. You have gone through the functional medicine panels, the comprehensive blood work, the stool analyses, the food sensitivity tests. Maybe some of it helped, a little, in the beginning. And then the effect plateaued, and you were left in almost the same place, now with more information and the same unexplained discomfort. Maybe you sat across from a practitioner, a kind one, or an exhausted, dismissive one. But either way, a person who looked at your results and told you that nothing significant was wrong, while your body was telling you, quietly and then louder and then in the middle of the night, that something was. And maybe the hardest part was not the symptom itself. Maybe the hardest part was the particular loneliness of carrying a knowing that no external authority would mirror back to you. The specific loneliness of having language for your own felt experience and finding no one in the clinical room who spoke that language or wanted to learn it. That loneliness, the loneliness of the self who knows and is not believed, who can feel something in the body that every test says is not there, is something this transmission sees in you completely. It does not explain it away. It does not spiritually reframe it into a lesson. It simply acknowledges you have been carrying something real, and the work of carrying it largely alone has been exhausting. Every elimination protocol that ended in frustration, every hopeful bottle that eventually joined the cabinet graveyard of attempts. Every morning you woke up and thought, I am doing everything I know to do. Why am I still not at the level of health I feel is possible for me? Those were not failures. Every single one of those attempts was your field learning its own edges, learning what it responds to and what it does not, learning through the long and often painful accumulation of experiments what it actually needs. The elimination protocol that did not resolve everything still refined your relationship to the signals your body sends. The supplement that showed no measurable effect still demonstrated your willingness to advocate for your own health when the system was not advocating for it. The practitioner visit that left you feeling unseen still gave you data about what is missing from the conversation that happens in clinical rooms about what it means to be a whole person with a field, with a history, with something that must be called a soul record, whether or not the medical framework has a column for it. You were not failing, you were mapping. And the map you built through all of that sincere, exhausting, sometimes expensive, sometimes heartbreaking, always courageous trying, has brought you to exactly this transmission, at exactly this hour. Because your field was ready. Because the dormant template has been waiting for the frequency of someone who has already done the preparation work. You are not broken. You were never broken. The written protocol anchored in the description below, the Field Integration Codex designed as the daily companion to this transmission, carries the practical framework for what to do with what is being opened tonight. Because a transmission is a door. What you will find in the Codex is what you do with the room on the other side. If the code 111 is present in your field right now, type it in the comments below. 111 is the dimensional gateway code, the signal of an inner door that was sealed from the inside, beginning to open. Not because something external to you forced it, because you arrived at the threshold with the preparation that was always required to open it from within. Now I want to bring you into the body, into the literal, physical, present moment body that you are inhabiting as you receive this. Find a position, seated, lying down, it does not matter, where your spine can lengthen slightly without effort, without performance. If it is safe for you, allow your eyes to close. If you prefer to keep them open, let your gaze soften until the edges of things lose their precision and everything becomes slightly soft, slightly gauze-like, slightly less defined than ordinary looking. Place your right hand, or whichever hand feels drawn, flat against your solar plexus. Press gently. Feel the warmth of your own palm against the soft tissue there. Notice what is already moving beneath your hand before you do anything. A pulse, a pressure, a slight rise and fall with the breath. A warmth that was already there before you arrived. That warmth is not generated by your hand. It is generated from within. That is the energetic center this transmission works within first. The solar plexus, the convergence point between the lower field of the body and the upper, where personal sovereignty and what this lineage names sovereign alignment meet the capacity for cosmic reception. Breathe in now through the nose. Long, slow. Let the belly expand forward against your palm so that your hand rises with the inhale. Hold the breath gently for a count of 4. And release through the mouth, not forced, not sharp, but as a long, audible, almost sighed release, as though you are exhaling a density that has accumulated over a long time that simply, now, does not need to stay. Do this again. Inhale, belly expanding, hand rising. Hold, and release. Once more, and this time, on the exhale, let whatever sound wants to arise. Even just the sound of air across the lips. Even just the quietest hum at the end of the breath. Let the exhale carry something out that no longer belongs inside the transmission field you are building right now. What sound healing traditions describe as 528 Hertz, named in that lineage as the frequency of structural coherence, sometimes called the love frequency, the tuning of reconnection, is the calibration signal this meditation works within. You do not need to hear it played externally. Your field already carries the resonant template. And as you hold your palm against the solar plexus and breathe in this way, you may begin to notice things arriving at the level of sensation. A warmth spreading outward from beneath your hand, not from your palm, but from deeper, as though something inside that space is generating heat. A slight vibration in the hand itself, or in the chest beneath it. Pressure gathering at the top of the skull, that same pressure, that same hum, that has been arriving in the 3 a.m. hours, arriving now in this moment of conscious receptivity, because your field is coherent enough to receive it while awake. You may feel the prickle of something that might become tears at the outer corners of your eyes. That is not grief. That is frequency shifting. That is the electromagnetic field releasing a held charge that has been compressed long enough that your nervous system does not yet know whether to call it sadness or relief. Let it move. Let whatever is moving, move. You are not breaking. You are opening. In your inner vision, follow only what feels alive in you, and leave anything that does not. See a violet light arriving at the crown of the skull. Not rushing in. Arriving the way early morning light arrives through a window before you notice the room was already filling. Gradual, quiet, already present before it is named. Let this violet frequency, what the Arcturian transmission lineage names as the light body activation color, the hue of the causal layer making contact with the physical, move downward through the skull, through the jaw, through the throat, through the sternum, and into the solar plexus, where your warm palm still rests. And at that meeting point, where the arriving frequency and the warmth already generated from within converge, something is unfolding, not dramatically, not in a way you can force or quantify or verify, but the way the silent strings inside a cathedral begin to vibrate when a tuning fork nearby begins to sing. That is the epigenetic unlock this lineage speaks of. Not a biological mechanism, but a field-level signal that tells the dormant template the conditions have shifted. that the environment is different now, that what was compressed may now begin, carefully, to express. Stay here as long as the breath allows. What follows a transmission of this depth, in the cosmology this lineage operates within, is what is named the integration window. In this tradition, approximately 72 hours during which the activation moves through the layers of the field from the etheric into the physical. Those 72 hours are not ordinary time. They are recalibration time. You may notice that your sleep shifts, deeper in some places, more vivid in others. You may find that certain foods, environments, or conversations carry a friction they did not carry before. A frequency incompatibility that your field now has enough coherence to detect and name. You may cry in a moment with no identifiable cause. You may feel in the chest a quiet lightness that you are almost afraid to trust because you have felt hopeful before and returned to where you started. Trust it anyway, or simply observe it without interpretation. The sovereign alignment re-establishing itself in your field does not require your belief to function. It requires only your presence. Your presence, which you have been offering this entire transmission. That is enough. That has always been enough. The field companion linked below this transmission, the written integration guide designed specifically for the hours that follow an activation of this kind, carries the morning and evening practices, the reflective protocol, and the frequency support framework for moving through the recalibration window with as much coherence as possible. It was designed for exactly this. The space between transmissions, when the frequency of what was opened needs to be tended before it fully sets. You arrived here tonight because something in your field recognized the invitation before your mind had finished reading the title. That is how transmission works across what this lineage calls the non-local field. The call goes out, and the field that is ready finds it, not by searching, but by resonance. You found this, or this found you. In the cosmology this transmission works within, those are the same thing. What sound healing traditions describe as the 432 Hz calibration tone, named in this lineage as the frequency of natural harmonic resonance. The tuning that brings the body's electromagnetic signature back into alignment with the broader field it was always designed to inhabit, is the closing frequency of this space. You do not need to do anything with that number. Simply let it land. Let the closing of this transmission be as unhurried as what opened it. Drop 888 in the comments below. For your own record, your own timeline, 888 is the abundance frequency code, the signal of timeline convergence, the marker that you have arrived at the exact coordinate where what you have been reaching toward and what has been reaching toward you finally occupy the same moment. You did not arrive here by accident. No one who finds a transmission like this one does. You were moved here by the long accumulation of everything you have tried, everything you have survived. Every morning you chose to keep looking for a language that would hold what you know about yourself. 888 is for that. Drop it. Let it mark the moment. The next layer the Arcturian Council has prepared for this channel, arriving in the transmission that follows this one, enters the pineal gland, not as biology, as the ancient crystalline observatory it was always named to be, the receiver through which higher dimensional light is translated into knowing, into inner vision, into the direct knowing that does not pass through the reasoning mind before it arrives. The next transmission carries the decalcification protocol, the frequency map for reopening the channel that has been accumulating interference since early childhood, the somatic sequence for what this lineage calls the third eye sovereign restoration. Be ready. It has already been prepared. It is already on its way to you.